pretty heavy frost this time. And the greenhouse, I'm just working it out. We had to get rid of the tomatoes. That didn't work out to leave them, so I've all the tomatoes out. They're no longer in the greenhouse. Okay, and we're getting the ground ready. And a lot of things have survived, though. Flowers didn't do too well. I had to get rid of some already. But the strawberries, doing real good. The flowers back here seem to have done really well. No problems back there on the flowers. And of course, that's something. Look at this. This is amazing. These greens are still coming up after the third frost. The cilantro and cabbage and radishes. Got some kale coming up over there. And not sure what that is right now. But we got those coming up. And it's looking good for a third frost in December. So now I'm getting ready to plant our winter crops. So bear with me a little bit and I'll show you what kind of winter crops that we can sow in the wintertime. Then is we have to put more dirt in. Now this dirt has been pretty well used up, the tomatoes all summer. So now we have to replenish the soil. And here's a lot of soil. These are from all our buckets that we had. That's on top here, and that's also depleted. So I'm going to have to get some good nutrients back into that soil. But we never want to throw it away. We can use it year after year. I got some organics to mix in. This is going to break down over the winter, and that's organic garden, tomato and vegetable. Of course, I got the good bone meal. That's almost a must anymore for our area for sure. And then our all-purpose organics, 544 mix. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to mix that into this soil and bring that soil then into the greenhouse. Brings onto this soil that I wanted. All these three ingredients are on there, and I'll be mixing that up. Now this isn't for the winter garden. Now, this is for next spring soil when we put the spring crops in, because it's going to take time for all that to break down. That's not something you put it on and it just that all has to break down first. So we give all the winter time and up to spring to break down, and it should be about ready next. So that the fertilizer completely mixed into the soil. Now I'm going to get some potting soil and mix it half and half and get some new potting mix in. And get some Miracle-Gro potting mix. Moisture control is a good one. It's the potting mix. Miracle-Gro is really good. And just mix those two together and we're going to have some really good soil. But of course, for the winter crop, what you want to do is use worm castings. Worm castings they can use right away. So we're going to use worm castings to put into the soil for all our winter life. But cut the new potting mix in. So now I'm going to mix that dirt in with the stuff that I just mixed. And we're going to have some really healthy soil for this winter and next. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of the winter gardening here. And I want to show you just how we get our garden to grow better. And now I'm putting the old tomato thing that we had. These are pretty green and they're a little moist. And that'll be perfect because what they're going to do is make the greenhouse warmer as it breaks down, giving a little heat in the greenhouse. And it'll be great compost for later. So we'll just bury that in the ground here. And we'll do the same over here. And we'll just do it in several different places. We're going to bury, like deeply as we can, a lot of our old tomato plants. That a lot of them frosted, but these are really green and moist, and they're going to break down very nicely over the winter. And when they do, they're going to create some heat in the greenhouse, and that will help actually keep our seeds quite warm through the winter, and that's what we'd like to count on. Okay, so put a little bit there, bury some up this way. Look at all those old roots from the tomatoes. They will all end up dying and breaking down, and they too will become good compost for our garden. We need to dig that out, and we're going to put some more under the ground just for compost, and just to help break down, generate a little heat during the winter. Here we have a little tomato. Make good compost too. I think it's way too far to eat. So that makes great compost. Okay. Now I'll take some of the soil that I mixed. I'm going to bring that in and throw it on top. Okay. This is good soil that has just been mixed up. Now, this will go into our garden. This from last year, we'll take that out. And now, we'll have some really good soil on top. Just put it all through. Just dump it down. Okay, and there we are. Okay, now spread that out. Now we have some really good dirt to sow our winter seeds in. Okay, bring that on up. All right, really nice soil. A little soil at the bottom, but that too will be working its way. Compost underneath. A lot of the fertilizers and stuff will go on down as we water. So we'll take care of the soil down below. So it'll be nicely nutritionalized. Okay, so that is our garden ready for planting. And as you can see, it's very fertile ground, very dark, the color you want, nice color. A lot of breakdown has already occurred, a lot of mulching, so it's going to be nice soil. Of course, we put a lot of the, added a lot of the other soil with it, the mulch from the store, but it's going to make some really good soil for starting our seeds. Be growing in our greenhouse for our winter crops. Number one, of course, is the carrots. Now, I can't read this. This is from the Ukraine. I bought these on eBay, and it took about 6 weeks to get here, but that's okay. It's for the winter garden. But these are special carrots. Notice they get very large. Wow. Oh my, 20 to 25 centimeters. Well, that's quite huge. Wow. Well, they should work in here. Of course, the radishes are a good winter crop. Onions are good. I don't have the onions right here, but onions and kale. And, of course, this snowball cauliflower, not necessarily winter, but we can make it a winter crop by doing a few different things to make sure. And I'll be giving you a next video on planting these and how we'll plant them for the winter. Make sure they stay warm enough to grow, at least to keep seeds going for the winter. So I went ahead and put a shelf in. This will be very handy, again, for spring and getting along our seedlings and everything we're going to need. So the greenhouse is pretty well back. We'll be getting rid of those flowers and put something else in the pot, more winter crops. But now we're ready to put our winter crops in and close up the greenhouse for the night. And that is our greenhouse from Harbor Freight. Paid $325 for it. It's the best investment we have ever made.